What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video, I think I found my team for the Retro Cup. It's taken a little while, but I think this is the best team for me, might be the best team for you, that I've brought to the Retro Cup. It's Quagsire, Charizard, and Froslass. The reason why I love it, and you guys know this, is energy play. I love Pokemon who have high energy gaining fast moves with bait and coverage low energy charge moves and hard hitting booms. In this case, we got Quagsire, Charizard, and Froslass. Like, come on, all three of them are amazing for that. And in the Retro Cup, with the bans that we see, these Pokemon can shine. So there is basically 2 days left in this meta, depending on where you're at in the world. So give this team a try. It was incredibly strong. All right, getting into the first battle here, we have Quagsire on the lead versus Lickitung. All right, so this is kind of one of those tough leads that in order for me to come out of this with any kind of advantage, I need to catch the Power Whip. So what I'm going to look to do here is just go for Mud Bombs and get a feel for how my opponent is going to be throwing charge moves. They're going to go ahead and throw the first one. I believe this was enough energy for Power Whip, so I'm going to go ahead and shield, and it was a Body Slam. So now that I know they've gone for a Body Slam, they are likely going to go for the Power Whip next to force that second shield from me. So I'm going to use that to my advantage and try to time it and catch the charge move on Charizard. Let's see if we can do it. Oh, we do! Beautiful swap in right there. It's really hard to time the charge move, but ultimately, we caught the Power Whip, and their best answer is a Medicham. And this is what I found with this team, is sometimes teams don't have answers for a Charizard or a Froslass. One of those two will sweep teams. Now, obviously, there could be something obscure out there, like an Alolan Graveler with Rock Throw, right? So be it. But a lot of the teams don't. Boom, we land the Blast Burn. In comes the Lickitung. We're going straight Blast Burns right here. We're going to get this Lickitung out of there or force the final shield. It lands. Boom. See ya. Final Pokemon is going to be Froslass. So yeah, they definitely did not have an answer in the back. I mean, both Froslass and Charizard take a lot of, or Froslass and Medicham take a lot of damage from Charizard. So we have a Stone Edge ready to go, and Quagsire is going to go ahead and sweep this one. Boom. Actually, it didn't finish them off, but they surrendered. They're like, yeah, good game. Catching that Power Whip was huge for me. Good battle. All right, moving into the next one. We have Quagsire on the lead versus Shadow Dragonair. So this is once again one of those tough leads, and I got the weak connection, so I'm actually a couple fast moves behind right there. But this is one of those matchups where you really can't swap out. I mean, I could obviously go straight into Froslass, but Shadow Dragonair is something that is very tough to deal with if you don't get rid of it right away, because later in the game, it could just cause trouble for you. So I'm looking to go for double Mud Bomb right here to try to get myself shield advantage, and then I'm going to go into that Froslass and saving Quagsire for a sack swap later on. Now, they do get to the Aqua Tail. I'm going to go ahead and shield, even up the shields, because I am ahead on energy. So whatever they bring in, we can put pressure on. We get the Dragonair out of the game, which is already great. And their next best answer is going to be a Dusclops. And we are so far ahead on energy right here that Shadow Ball is going to be the obvious go-to, and it does land. Now, because they decided to let it go through, I will give up a shield here on either the Fire Punch or Shadow Punch. It doesn't matter. Both do super effective damage. And I'm going to go for the Powder Snow down because I can get it in time. Final Pokemon is going to be a Froslass on their side. So this game isn't over, but I do have to make another sacrificial swap in order to win. I get the Shield Bait with Avalanche, and I don't get to the Shadow Ball in time, which is okay. But like I said, in order to win, right, this Froslass can sweep me right here. If I come in with Charizard and try to go for a Blast Burn, that Avalanche might just be enough to KO, and I don't want to risk that, so I'm going to go ahead and swap, and we do catch the charge move. Beautiful, and this is why I love saving low health Pokemon like this, like that Quagsire on the lead, because now Charizard can come in and go for Blast Burn right away, and this is going to be a good game, very well played, as we take out the Froslass. Boom, down it goes. All right, getting into the next battle. We have Quagsire on the lead versus Shadow Hypno. So this is kind of a tough lead. I mean, we don't want Shadow Hypno to have a lot of health for our backline, so we'll have to see how they decide to play it. But we're going to go for Stone Edge first. This does a lot of neutral damage, and I'm thinking I'm actually going to be able to land it this early, which we do. Now, I gotta watch out for the potential Shadow Ball right here, so I'm gonna go ahead and give up a shield, as this will be stopping what's actually gonna be the Thunder Punch. But now I'm free to go for Mud Bomb, since we did land the Stone Edge, and Mud Bomb should be enough damage to KO from this range. So we'll have to see if they decide to shield, which they do, perfect, and now they decide to swap out, and they swap into Greedent, and I just fat finger, and I go straight into Froslass. I think Charizard might be a little better here in this situation because we resist the fast moves and we don't take super effective damage from Crunch. So a slight mistake there, but that's okay. We can overcome and come back from this. We're going to go ahead and go for Avalanche, which does do some nice neutral damage. Now they will be able to get to the Crunch in time, but it's not going to be enough to KO me because Crunch from a Greedent doesn't, I mean, yes, it does do a lot of damage as you saw right there, but it's not KO worthy. So we're going to go ahead and go for Avalanche here to see if they decide to give up a shield. But they're going to go ahead and let it go, which is perfectly fine with me, as Talonflame now comes in, and it allows me to get to a Avalanche here just in time before the Incinerate damage comes through. Now my Quagsire almost has a Stone Edge, because I saved that energy against Hypno, so we're going to go ahead and come in. They went for the Incinerate, so I am free to throw Stone Edge right here. If your opponent, or if you throw a fast move, especially a long duration fast move like Confusion or Incinerate, you cannot swap out to another Pokemon while that animation is happening. So they're locked in, which allowed me to go for the Stone Edge for free. Charizard now is going to sweep this with a Dragon Claw, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. So even though we didn't have the optimal swap in, right, Froslass into Greedent, it was still able to work. So good game. All right, we got Quagsire now versus Altaria. So we actually have a lot of options here for Altaria, and a lot of teams in this meta do run with this Pokemon. We have Stone Edge here on Quagsire, we got Froslass obviously, and we got Dragon Claw on Charizard. So we're going to go ahead and go for that Stone Edge. It does land, so now I'm going to swap in a Froslass to force them out, and they swap in a Lantern, which is perfect, right? Because then we can get alignment of Quagsire to Lantern, and we can keep Charizard away from Lantern, which is obviously a big counter to it. So we're going to go ahead and let this go through, hoping it's a Surf, but it's actually going to be a Thunderbolt, which is okay. We should be able to get to another Shadow Ball here, and we do. Perfect. So now this is going to be forcing a shield from them. If they decide to let this go, it's going to be close, but they decide to shield, which is fine by me, and they're going to go ahead and commit to the farm down. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get to an Avalanche right there, but that's okay. Quagsire can come in. We will take quite a bit of damage from the double Surf that is going to be coming through, but ultimately, Quagsire can hang on, and we want to save shields for Charizard now that Lantern is out of the game, right? If you consider a Altaria and a Lantern, there's clearly something weak to a Charizard in the back. So as long as we get this Lantern out of there, it is going to be okay. Now, obviously, it could be something that completely hard counters it, like the Alolan Graveler. But we're going to go ahead and swap in. Now, they threw Sky Attack right away, which I'm really annoyed that I swapped out because I could have gotten Quagsire basically for free. And sure enough, it's a Medicham in the back. So that's going to be a good game. I can easily overload on energy. I believe this was enough for a Psychic. So I'm going to go ahead and give up a shield here, and it is Psychic, so perfect. Now we can go for double Blast Burn. We're just going to build up to it, as we want to utilize the resisted fast moves from Medicham to store up as much energy as possible. They decided to let the Blast Burn go through, and because Charizard's moveset here of Blast Burn and Dragon Claw with Wing Attack as the fast move is just so clutch, we can get another Dragon Claw off, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. That's why I love this team. You have flexibility and options and very hard-hitting charge moves. It was a lot of fun to run, but as we saw there, Charizard able to handle the Altaria and Medicham very nicely after we got Lantern out of the game, which was a big W. All right, good game. Now we got Shadow Obamasnow on the lead. All right. This is going to be a tough one. We're going to go ahead and swap into Froslass right away. And I want you guys to notice that they are not swapping out. This tells me that they might be weak in the back. And it's either going to be that Ghost typing. Charizard could... What I'm getting at here is Charizard could also do well in the back, right? There could be something like a Medicham in the back or another fighter. We don't know, but I'm going to go ahead and shield. And it's actually going to be a Alolan Marowak in the back, the GOAT, which allows me now to go for a Shadow Ball here to get another shield from my opponent. So if I get 2 shields already in this game, which I just did, the animation just didn't show, which is fine. We're going to go ahead and let this charge move go through. It's going to be a Bone Club, which I was surprised, but now they can commit to the farm down, but instead they pull the trigger at the last second and go for another Bone Club. So a mistiming on their part, but that's okay. I wasn't at an Avalanche, but now Quagsire can come in and really load up on energy. I'm fine with getting hit with a Shadow Ball or Shadow Bone because it's not going to do that much damage, but they decided to go for another Bone Club. I'm not shielding in this situation, and now they swap into Medicham. So clearly, right, we saw the Obamasnow stay in against Froslass. It was a tell. And as you see, right, the ghost typing on the Froslass really helped out because the Shadow Ball against Alolan Marowak and the Shadow Ball against Medicham, which is also why Charizard now does so well, as we can easily take down Medicham. Now there's still the Alolan Marowak to get through and the Obamasnow, but we should be able to handle it as we can go for another Blast Burn here to take out Alolan Marowak, and then Quagsire has a Stone Edge ready to go. We have a ton of energy and we still have a shield, so this is going to be a good game as we do get to Dragon Claw in time. Now, this isn't enough neutral damage to take out the Obamasnow, but I do have a Stone Edge ready to go, and with a shield, we're perfectly fine right here. So it's a good game, even though we lost the lead, right? They didn't have a great answer for Froslass. Yes, Alolan Marowak can go toe-to-toe with it, but it's not the best because you have to give up shields, as you saw. All right, this match we have Altaria, and this time I'm going to swap into Froslass right away, and we do draw out a Jellicent. So similar to the Lantern swap-in that we saw before, Jellicent coming in is very ideal to free up Charizard in the back, as this might be the only counter, especially if they are running with Surf. That is a new moveset on Jellicent. If you guys weren't aware, it got access to Surf. So we're going to go ahead and shield the Shadow Ball because I do want to take this into the 1-0 shields to be able to have a Charizard sweep in the end game now that we're getting Jellicent out of the way. So we do get 2 shields right there. They're going to go ahead and throw the next charge move, which is fine. I'm going to let this go and then look to come in with Quagsire and do as much damage as possible. And it might be a case of letting Quagsire go down as well, depending on how many charge moves they can get off right here. So let's see what they decide to do. They're going to go ahead and throw. We're going to let this go. It's either going to be Shadow Ball. Yeah, it is going to be the Shadow Ball. It does a lot of neutral damage. We're going to load up on energy, and they decide to swap into Altaria, which is a beautiful swap in for us because now Stone Edge is going to be doing super effective damage. We can come in with Charizard and load up on energy. We still have a shield. I'm going to go ahead and throw the Dragon Claw. I might have been able to get away with a farm down with Wing Attack, but I didn't want to risk getting hit with a Sky Attack and being forced to shield because Jellicent is still on the back. So we're still in a good position here as they do have their own Charizard. And now I make a slight mistake and throw on CMP tie. I should have overloaded a bit on energy right there, but that's okay. We're forced to shield the Dragon Claw as we do go for Blast Burn here. And now it's going to be a matter of Charizard getting to a Dragon Claw and Quagsire getting to a Mud Bomb. So let's see if we can do it. We go ahead and go for the Dragon Claw, and I don't think they're going to do enough damage with Hex in order to farm me down before I get to another one in time. It's also Wing Attack that they have to be worried about as well. So they're forced to throw energy, and now we will see if they actually had Surf, but they actually have Ice Beam. So it was an Ice Beam Shadow Ball. I don't think it would have mattered. I mean, I guess they could have gotten potentially back-to-back Surfs right there, depending on how much energy. It would have been a close one, but overall, good game right there. All right, moving into the next one, we have Quagsire versus Shadow Snorlax. So this is similar to Lickitung lead, where it can be kind of tough to deal with, but we don't have to worry about the Power Whip. In this case, we got to look out for Super Power. Now, if they just go straight for Body Slam, that's fine by me. I'll go ahead and let that go through, and it looks, yeah, this looks to be the Body Slam. It was a bit quick for Super Power, so we're going to go ahead and let it go. And then we will start to load up on some energy and see what they decide to do. They're deciding to stay in, so we're going to go ahead and go for another Mud Bomb here. Try to get a shield early for us, and then we might look to swap. But let's see. They decided to let it go through, so I'm actually going to go ahead and swap into Froslass now, and I draw out an Alolan Marowak, a Shadow one with Hex. So they're going to be gaining energy a lot quicker, which means that Shadow Bone might just outpace me here, so I got to be careful. Shadow Ball is going to get shielded, which is fine. And then let's see if we can get to another one in time. I think the Alolan Marowak still needs 2 more hexes in order to get to another Shadow Bone. So I'm going to go ahead and shield and then try to get to this because it just needs 1 Powder Snow for me. Maybe they needed 1 more hex. Not sure right there. I wasn't perfectly keeping count, but we do get 2 shields. But now they're going to commit to the farm down. And I'm hoping I get to the Avalanche in time. And they decided to throw, which is perfect. So this is now going to be taking out Froslass, but I got 2 shields from them, which once again frees up Charizard. We're going to go ahead and come in with Quagsire here and look to load up on energy and see what they decide to do. They're going to go ahead and throw the charge move, and this was a bit quick. I'm like, okay, I think this is just Bone Club. I'm going to let it go through, which it was, and then they decide to swap into Snorlax, and I'm like, okay, Charizard, it's your time to shine. Everyone's out of energy. Snorlax is sitting there to get farmed down. Alolan Marowak is low. Dragon Claw will KO. So we're going to go ahead and load up. Now, they still had a good amount of energy. I'm always surprised, even when I use the GOAT, how quickly it gets to charge moves. So we're going to go ahead and shield. We're going to load up on some extra energy, go for a Dragon Claw here, and now it's going to be a matter of whatever that final Pokemon is in the back, if we can one-shot it with Blast Burn, and it's going to be a Primeape. So the answer to that question is a yes. A very loud boom yes. You love to see it. Boom! One-shots the Primeape, and that is going to be a good battle. Very well played. This team was so much fun to use, guys. So much fun. All right, we got Quagsire now versus Trevenant. So this is tough. I got to come in with Froslass right away, and they swap into a Walrein, which is also tough for me because Shadow Ball, I have to land 2 in order to take it out. Now, I don't necessarily want Switch, but having Switch would be great. Now, they shielded the first Shadow Ball right there, which I'm going to go ahead and shield, calling the Earthquake, which it is. So now we're going to see if I can actually get myself Switch advantage. But in getting Switch, that means they're probably... Whoa, that was a roll of the lips right there. Probably not going to be shielding. So I'm going to go ahead and shield to see if I can potentially flip this around. So we do get Earthquake. Now we're going to go ahead and load up on a lot of extra energy now and go for Avalanche here. I think I could have gotten away with a lot more energy. That way I could go for Avalanche. That's definitely a mistake of mine because now I have to do 2 extra Powder Snows in order to get to Avalanche. And I also make a second mistake here. I need to be swapping into Charizard right away because Trevenant now is going to farm me down. So what I have to do is I have to catch. So I'm going to come in with Quagsire. They're going to do a Shadow Claw, and now I'm going to swap, but they hold it. They held it. Very good call by the opponent to hold it, but I showed the Quagsire to force that Seed Bomb to try to catch it, but now I'm getting swept. And this is what happens when you drop all of your shields and you don't take hard switch, right? Where, you know, Charizard still gets deleted by a Shadow Ball. So, good game right there. Mistakes on my end, and they capitalized it. My opponent did a great job holding the energy, but overall, this team put in work. 9-1 with it today. All very strong Pokemon that you probably have access to, and if you have not built any of these, right? A Wing Attack, a Double Legacy, Wing Attack, Blast Burn, Charizard, a Froslass, or a Quagsire. These should be on your roster for Open Great League and for specialty cups like the Retro Cup. So, hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and like always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.